Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Aaron the Black Dragon, and today I'm gonna ask you and myself the question: are we old? That's what brought me to the grand idea to take a quiz and see if I'm getting old. Which I am. There's no question about that, but I still thought the premise was interesting enough to try and explore deeper. If you answer yes 10 times in this quiz, you're an old person in a young person's body. Well, let's see if that's the case. Probably not, because I would be an old person in an old person's body. Do you wake up before 7 AM on the weekends? Depends on if I have planned something or not. Usually no, but this weekend, yes, all the time. Also, I have to go to work at times, so there I also wake up earlier. On the technical matter, if I have nothing to do, not really. If I have something to do, yes, but if you take weekends as you have no plans on working or anything, no. Do you use phrases like back in my day or kids today? I only use them ironically, but not in a serious manner, because I still don't feel that that's applicative for me. So no, I don't use those. Do you use paper maps instead of GPS? No. There was a time where I tried to learn read maps, which honestly is not a bad skill, but I don't use paper maps. Do you refer to the computer as the machine? No, we have something different that is referred to as der Gerät, but that's something completely different. So no, I'm not referring to it as the machine. Do you love Tupperware? I don't love it. I use it because it's practical, but I don't love it. Also, we don't have as much, so no. But again, it's practical, but I wouldn't put stuff that has a package into a separate tub, because that's just dumb. The only reason why I started doing this with certain things is because we have moths that get into rice and cocoa powder and other stuff like that. And we have some Tupperware that seals off really nice where they can't get in there. That's the only things that I started to pack into Tupperware, to make sure they weren't gonna get in there and reproduce and ruin our produce. That's the only reason, because I don't wanna have more moths and more produce to throw out. But no, I don't love Tupperware. Do you have a favorite mug? Yes, I do. Not only do I have a favorite mug, it's also from my show that I absolutely love, from the Owl House. It's a Lumity mug that I got for my 30th birthday from my girlfriend. I love it, it's my favorite. You can judge me as much as you want. I do not care is the thing. I love them. They're adorable and they deserve the best. Do you have no idea who Billie Eilish is? I know who Billie Eilish is. She's the bad guy. Do you still pay for things by check? I never paid with a check. I don't know if that's a thing that's not as common in Austria, but I never paid anything by check, I never received a check, that's not a thing here. So I'm not even sure if I'm applicable for that question. Do you buy magazines? Here's the fun thing, I bought magazines when I was young. Gaming magazines, like, first there was like GameStar and what was the other one? Game Pro and stuff like that. We bought gaming magazines when we were young. Now we don't buy any sort of magazines anymore. So, in a technical matter, if you would have asked me that question when I was young, the answer would have been yes to that. Weird, right? Are you cold right now? No, right now I'm well-tempered and that's perfect. That is such a stupid question, because depending on where you live, the answer could be yes. And depending on what the weather situation is, depending on how your living situation is, that is just a stupid question if you ask me. Do you bring a sweater or something to keep you warm with you wherever you go? At the moment I'm bringing my vest with me, because we have like really strong wind right now and the temperatures are all over the place right now. We get up to 26 degrees, but then at night when it's getting cold and I get to go home from work, we're getting suddenly down below 10 or something, and it's like all over the place, and that's not good for your health, that constant up and down. So yes, I have my sweater with me. Not my sweater, it's a vest. But yes, I bring something with me right now. Do you bake bread? I wish I would. My parents bake bread and it's so dang delicious. It's so good. I myself do not bake bread. I'm just cooking a lot of stuff, but I don't bake bread. Which maybe I should get into, because homemade fresh baked bread is something so incredibly good. Do you leave messages on people's voicemail or answering machines? There was only certain situations when I would leave a message, and that is when I'm being directly asked to leave a message if the person doesn't pick up. But other than that, I just end the call. There is like no reason for me to leave a voicemail ever. Because if I want something from a person, I want to tell them in person. So I just wait for them to call me back, or I try at a later time again. But I don't leave voicemails. Do you go on cruises? I've never been on a cruise. Like, we've been on transfer ship, which I don't think counts as a cruise, when we were in Finland, and we transferred down from Finland to what is it, Latvia? I don't know. When we drove between those two countries there, and the other time that I remember was when we were in Greece, when we were traveling to a prison island, which also was more of a transporter than a cruise. But a real cruise like that? No, never been to. I don't know if I even would care to be on a cruise, but I never been on one. Do you play bingo? No, I actually never played real bingo. The only form that we ever played was bullshit bingo. And bullshit bingo, the way we played it was, we each got some words in our vocabulary that we use regularly as like forbidden words for like a vacation, for a travel when we were somewhere on the weekend. That was when we were younger still, when we were like teens. And whenever we said one of these words, the other people could shout in bullshit, and then you would get a point. And as soon as you had like 5 or 10 points, I don't know how many points it was, you can change that rule however you want, you had to pay for a drink for the others. That was a game that we played. It was kind of fun, because we did it just normally throughout the days, and then we had like, okay, we got 10 bullshits on you, so that's 2 drinks that you're buying everyone, and that's kind of fun. That was a fun time. I don't know if I would play that again, but that's the only kind of bingo that we played. But never regular bingo. How about the crosswords in the newspaper? Ha! Gotcha there! Don't read the newspaper. I get my news from other outlets, not the newspaper anymore. And also, yet again, I did those when I was younger. I did those when I was still going to school. Because I went to school before smartphones really took that much of a hold. I think I was right around the cusp of the smartphone craze when it was my last year in school. Before that, we didn't have smartphones. The most interesting thing you could play was Snake or Sims on your phone, or maybe some other games that you had, but that were the most interesting games at this point. Maybe Tetris. But yeah, I did that when I was young. I'm not doing them now anymore. It really depends on when you ask me the question. Do you power walk at the mall? No, I just walk through the mall. And I don't power walk. I never power walk anywhere. Unless you count my normal walk as a power walk. But no, I don't do that. Do you use a physical wall calendar? No, actually we don't. We found one in our belongings when we were moving our stuff, and there was like that big wall calendar with like this teardown pages, and that was from 2018 or something like this, and we were like, why do we have that? Let's just toss it. So no, we don't use that. Do you keep a supply of Werther's candies at home? No, we don't. The only thing from Werther's that I actually bought for myself, which is something I can't even find anymore, was they had some chocolate that was filled with caramel. And I loved that. They were really good, but I cannot find those anymore, so I don't have those. And at this point, I enjoy dark chocolate way more with caramel inside, because it's a bit more of a contrast than just sweet. Which is also really difficult to find. But no, nothing of worthless at home. But worthless, wanna sponsor that video? We can change that. Like they would. Do you write in a physical notebook? I don't write in a physical notebook, but I have some physical drawing books where I have my art inside. But you are about writing, so I say that that doesn't count. That's more overarching for every age, that if you wanna draw something, you're gonna get yourself some pencils, some paper or some pens or whatever, and draw in the booklet, like that. Do you wear slippers at home? I don't. At the moment, because of floor's still a little bit too cold, because the weather is also a little bit all over the place, I still wear socks, but usually I'm actually going barefoot, so no, don't wear them. Not regularly. At a friend's place I have some, because they have a really cold floor. But for us, nah, don't wear them. Do you send out physical thank you cards? Have I ever done that? I don't think I've ever done that, so no. Do you have no clue who Lil Nas X is? I have a clue who Lil Nas X is. I think there's some old people that even know who they are, so these feel like softballs in that quiz. Do you not go to some places because they are too loud? I never thought that. I'm still going to concerts and like festivals and stuff like that, so that's not a thing. I only had that during the time when I had my ears blocked and I thought I had tinnitus. And there I was like, I don't want to go anywhere that's loud because it hurts my ears. But that had a more medical reasoning behind it than it's just too loud for me. So no, I don't do that. Do you usually take naps? Only if I plan on editing throughout the night and I take some power naps in between so that I'm not completely a liquid bag of garbage to throw away. But no, not really. There's only like maybe certain days, certain times, certain moments when I'm like, I need some extra rest, but usually don't need those. You got 2 out of 25. Well, that's a good one. You're definitely not old at all. You don't seem to do many of the typical old person things. In fact, you're still learning about the world, making mistakes and just trying to live your best life. Don't forget to cherish these years because they'll be gone before you know it. You know, you will always learn new things. Even if you're like 60 or 80 or 101 years, you will always learn something new. Because there's always new things to learn. So that's never gonna change. And you will always, and that's one thing I can guarantee you, make mistakes. Age doesn't save you from making mistakes. More likely you will make even more and bigger mistakes because of your age, because maybe you're not keeping up with how the world is changing, and that's how we get racism on such a high scale. I'm gonna turn political if I have to here. That was a softball of a quiz. Like there wasn't a lot that I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be an old person. No, there was a lot of stuff that honestly made me feel more like an old person because I did it when I was young and not do it anymore. So there was an interesting traversal for me in this quiz. Which, if I go through it again and say like all of the things that I did when I was young as a yes, maybe I would turn out to be an old person then. They always just ask if you do those things right now. And that's not correct. I also just now realized that the confetti is cut off at one point. But yeah, this actually took way longer than I thought it was gonna take, so I'm just gonna leave that one here. So, I'm not old, I don't care what you say, because these questions were really well skewed in my opinion, because I could answer some of them with yes and no at the same time.